Hi, everybody. You're welcome back to Doc's Daily. It's Hump Day Wednesday. It should be Overreaction Wednesday from some of the panel behind the scenes as we'll talk about the MLB is absolute chaos. So we'll talk about that here in a minute. But it's Wednesday, the 24th of September. Welcome in. Hopefully we can give you some winners today. We'll talk a little baseball, a lot of baseball. We'll talk a little, how about football for the week ahead. Kick that off, of course, on Thursday. We kick off Thursday Night Football, and there's a college football game tomorrow, Army and East Carolina, right? I think that's the game for tomorrow. So, and then some really good games on Friday that hopefully we can get into. But if you haven't done so, let's take care of some business. Make sure you check out the free $60 account. You can test out our absolute best plays. You go over to docsports.com/free60. We get a $60 free account for new customers. And if you get in on that, you can get some of our top plays, or you can put that towards a long-term pass if you like. You just say, hey, I want to bet a week pass of Nick Menken. You just pay the $39 difference because it's $99 for baseball for a week. Okay. Also, don't forget about the premium levels here at YouTube. This is the best value we have. Level 1, you get Lenny, that's behind the scenes here. You get his play every day, plus some early access to all the football videos and all the extra videos we do. Level 2, you get IC, plus you get level 1. And then level 3, you get all 3, which includes 3 of our expert plays every day for $49.99. And that's $49.99 a month. $2,700 worth of picks are included, plus level 1 and 2. All right, let's get right to it. Guys, my big play went down yesterday. I had the Reds. And this is, I never bet my teams. And I knew I was done because I get all the picks from all the cappers. So that's how I do the premium plus. Everybody was on the Reds. And I mean, some people were on a run line, some people were on money line. We had, I think it was 8 cappers to 0. Which says that is like the kiss of death. Like anytime we're like in this big a consensus, it goes down. Nick, I don't think you have any big play today, right?
No big plays today. The Indiana Fever let me down, just scoring about 63 points, I believe that was. I had the over in that one, fell just short, but it was expected. I thought the Aces would come out on the offensive side, and that's exactly what they did. And Craig, you talk about that Cincinnati and everybody having Cincinnati yesterday. It was kind of like Monday with the San Francisco Giants. I think 10 of us had it as well, and the St. Louis Cardinals ended up winning that. And this is a time with baseball you just got to be very tricky too, because the teams that need to win not necessarily do win. So just be careful with baseball here as we get closer to playoff October baseball.
Yeah, you were on the jinx on the Ace. Everybody was on the Aces too yesterday, FYI, including 8-unit. Scott Rickenback had the Aces yesterday. So when I saw all of those, I was like, uh-oh. I don't think you have Raphael, you don't have a big play today, do you? I think Griffin's the only one with a big play on the board, I think I saw.
No, I think I have I had nothing on the board today. I thought I had maybe something on soccer, but nothing. I mean, Griffin said it correctly. I mean, this is where you really have to pick and choose in baseball. I do a lot of passing this last week because some of these games really don't mean anything. Some of these kids are just looking for AAA spots, not even pro spots for next year. So it's really hard. I myself did not have the Reds yesterday, but I had the Giants yesterday. Run line up 8-3. I fell asleep on the couch. I wake up, I lose 9-8. What are we doing, people? That would have pushed me over for a profits of $10K for the year in baseball. So took a little gut punch yesterday. Stupid couch. I fell asleep. I think if I would have stayed awake, I probably would have won.
Yeah, it's your fault.
My fault.
I always say be careful this last week because there's a reason why these teams are basically 500. You know, like the teams that are fighting for these last wild card spots, especially in the National League, are basically a few games above 500 for a reason. Like they would not be in this spot having to win the last week if they were teams that you could really count on, aka my Reds, aka the Mets the second half of the season. The Diamondbacks have actually, since the trade deadline, of these 3 teams have been the best. Who would have thought after the trading away all what they did, if they could turn around? So I don't know how it's going to end right now. I would have to say you have to give it a little nod to the Mets because I don't know what your Cubs are going to do. I don't think the Cubs are going to be out there killing themselves when they don't need to win any more games. So I think that's probably not helping my Reds. Luckily, we do play the Pirates today. All that didn't matter yesterday. So I don't think I've counted out the Diamondbacks all season long, and it's to my detriment the last, month and a half. So.
The Diamondbacks have won 13 straight run line plays following a win as a dog. That's last night. You could have got 3. You could have laid plus 1.5, minus 120 last night on them.
Yeah, they've just, Kansas City did the same thing. Like at the trade deadline, I kind of thought Kansas City made a mistake. They've been pretty good. I mean, now granted, like not good enough to get into the playoffs, but I think both of these teams, you have to look, can they carry this momentum into next year? That's what you have to do. Giants should be the same way. Can we finish strong and at least say, okay, who was it? I think there's somebody I gave out yesterday or today. Can't remember that they're 3 games below 500. You have to think if you're like a sub team and you can get to 500, that's a winning season type attitude that maybe can carry on to next year. So, Nick, is there a play you like today that we can put on our people here for a free play?
Yeah, let's do it. We're already talking about it, and it's the Arizona Diamondbacks at the Los Angeles Dodgers, and it's not necessarily why I'm going with these Diamondbacks. It's because they're 1 game back. It's because Ryan Nelson's on the mound, and if you look at his spreads in Chase Field here at home, he's 5-1, 17 appearances. His ERA is under a 2.4 here. He's been solid, and this is where he pitches his best at home, and it's a must-win game if you are an Arizona Diamondback, so that just adds to the confluence there. But they're going up against Blake Snell. He's looked solid his last couple outings, good quality starts here, but there's no quit in this Arizona Diamondbacks team. They got guys on this when they went to the World Series, they got these guys back, and there's been veteran guys like a Corbin Carroll that's young in the league but has a lot of experience in this type of environment where it's a must-win ball game, and that is going to help this Arizona Diamondbacks team here in the last couple games. So I'm on the value here at home against the Dodgers again. I had them yesterday. They cashed in. They were down and hit that walk-off win yesterday against the Dodgers. So I'm on him again. I'm backing him here against Ryan Nelson. I think he's great at home, and the value 5-1 at home this season. I think he gives it to the Dodgers again tonight.
Yeah, the Dodgers just had a weird season. Like early, I was like, man, this team is going to be tough to beat again. Since then, I mean, this team is just like hit or miss. I maybe they can turn it on. Maybe this is just a flip the switch type team. I don't know. That's a lot to ask when they really have not been great for 3 months? I mean, basically the second half of the season, they haven't been great. What do you like here, Raphael? Anything out there that you like as a free play?
I was going to take the Cubs game over 7. I could give a rat's ass that the wind is blowing in because you figure Boyd's not going to be in there long. They're probably going to have a short stick with him, and the Mets need to score runs. But I saw this going through DraftKings and BetMGM today. Give me the Yankees team total hits over 7.5. I know they popped bottles last night, but they're still in a playoff hunt. They're still trying to win a division because Toronto has been slumping. They've hit this number 6 out of 7 games. Again, 7.5 hits. They hit 11 hits yesterday, 10 hits the day before. I was totally blown away that I only had to lay 7.5 and laying juice either minus 125 or a minus 130. I just think Yankees, again, still playing for something. Now, if they weren't playing anything like we saw when the Cubs popped bottles and then dropped 5 straight, that's totally different. They weren't playing nothing. The Yankees are still playing to win the division and maybe get first place in the wild card. So they're still playing for something. So I see their bats getting at least 7 hits today.
Well, they're 1 game back of Toronto.
Yes.
And the Red Sox are in a must-win spot today. So you kind of got to think, the Yankees win today, Red Sox win, all of a sudden, look where we are. It's basically come down to a 4-game sprint to the end. And you have to like the Yankees that are surging. You really have to think that like they're at least turning in the right spot. I like a little free play. I'm betting against the Phillies today. It was the Marlins, the team I was looking at. They're 3 games under 500. If they finish 500, that's like winning the World Series for this team. I really believe like it is a huge momentum. And, they have this thing called ticket sales. And you know what marketing does? They're going to be like, hey, look at this young team. They went 500. Look how they closed. And next year they try to sell tickets at the beginning of the year. I think they help them out. I think the Phillies aren't like – the Phillies are just like, let's just, keep some momentum going. We're going to rest guys when we can rest guys. I think that costs them a loss here. And that's a nice price. Let's take the Marlins on the money line. Hey, now let's look ahead to okay, before I get to that, Raphael, I'm going to put you on the spot. 3 teams in the yeah, you look behind. You have 3 teams in the NL wild card, the last wild card spot. Reds, Diamondbacks, Mets. Mets are up, what, a game, right?
Yeah.
What do you like as a bettor and as an odds maker? What do you think here?
Oh, it's got to be the Mets, and I'm not just saying it's because someone on this panel has a Cubs shirt on right now. But look at the paper trail. They pop bottles. Suzuki's saying he just absorbed 10 bottles of champagne through his skin, and then they lose 5 straight. What's the mentality of knowing that they almost lost their best pitcher yesterday because of back stiffness? They still don't have some of their best guys, and now the Mets, who need wins, I would put stock on the Mets. I think the Reds, crucial loss yesterday, like you said. Now they had to go against Paul Skeens. Even though I like the Reds at home laying a soft number with Hunter Green, who lit up the Cubs complete game, beat them 1-0 a week ago. So I would have to say the Mets are probably can't wait for this game to start. This was supposed to be a 1:20 game, and then ESPN moved in and said, hey, we're going to put it on this game. So now they moved the time slot to an evening game. I'm sure the Mets probably wanted to play this game hurry for what the Cubs did last night.
Well, the Red season is today. If they lose today, I mean, I guess it depends on what the Mets do. But if they lose today with your ace on the mound, it would be really hard to make up 2 games. So I think the Reds will put it all on the line today. You know, the one problem about Skeens is whenever he pitches, they get no run support. I mean, he has to have the lowest run support of any pitcher in baseball. It's got to be. It's just like he never gets more than 1 run. I mean, I've won a couple games back. They scored 1, and I had a first 5-inning play with him, minus a half a run. And I had to sweat it to the 4th inning to hit 1 run. And that's just the typical thing where it's like they give him 1 run of support in the first 5 or 6 innings. And I don't think Skeens is going to be stretched out, by the way.
No.
He's going past the 5th inning. At this point in the season, he's pretty much got the Cy Young locked up. You just want to make it to next season with him healthy. And if he's healthy, at least you, as a Pirates fan, you say, hey, we know every 5th day we have the best pitcher in baseball. If you consider him better than Skubal, I guess.
But he wins at home. Yeah.
So we'll see. He's got the best, hottest chick at home. You're right.
Is he still with her? I thought.
Oh yeah.
Is he?
No.
I mean, I used to think he had the upside, because that was true. Not anymore. I think he's on like a. I mean, if he wasn't in Pittsburgh, imagine if this dude was pitching in New York.
Oh.
Kate Upton too.
Yeah. Anywhere else besides Pittsburgh. It could be New York. It could be Chicago, Boston,
Atlanta.
Dodgers. I mean, he could go anywhere besides Pittsburgh.
So he had to be like, you had to take me. All right, so let's talk a little football. Big week ahead. I want to look at Friday college football, and I don't know if you guys know exactly what you're going to have, but we've got 3 games. Florida State, Virginia, I think is sneaky good game. Florida State's favored by 7. TCU, ASU, I think either team can win. ASU's favored by 2.5. And then Houston, Oregon State, the lesser of the 3. Oregon State's been absolutely terrible. 13-point underdog at home. Nick, you kick us off. No, let's Raphael, since you started in baseball. Raphael, any of these 3 that kind of stick out that maybe you like more than the others?
Keep an eye out for this Arizona TCU game. One book has already 2 on it, and we're in a copycat book. If someone has 2, someone else is going to copy paste 2 because they're afraid of the liability. Because I think the bettors realize, I watched TCU on TV when they're overseas. I watched TCU dismantle this one team on TV. Arizona State has not been on TV as much as normal, besides last year when they had one of the greatest white running backs of all time, and is now playing for the Giants. But I just think TCU money is going to continue to come in. So if you like Arizona State, I say wait for a better number. I think it continues to drop down. And I think the total comes down as well, open up at 56.5. I'm leaning towards an under on this game, so I missed a good number, but I can see this number continue to drop.
I mean, I think a lot of Arizona State people that want to say, they're not as good this year, think maybe Mississippi State's not good. We don't know yet. We will find out this week. Mississippi State has we'll find out how good they are as they move into SEC play this week. So, but unfortunately, you have to bet this game first. So that's if we had to see Mississippi State Friday and this game on Saturday, then you can make some adjustments to maybe how you want to play this game. Nick, is there any of these other games that you like?
Yeah, let's look at a little ACC matchup. Obviously, Florida State headed to Virginia here in Virginia. They're just coming off a nice little win against Stanford, 48-20 there. But Florida State, you look at this offense and you can't overlook it. I get that they had a weaker schedule, but they also played Notre Dame in that first game, and they're averaging 620. Alabama. Excuse me.
Yep.
And they're averaging 628 yards per game here. That's first in all of college football. If Florida State is the real deal here, I know it is a sandwich game. Why is it called a sandwich game? Because if you look next week, Florida State has Miami, and that's a huge matchup here in the ACC. But let's not overlook this one. I think Florida State is the real deal here on the offensive side. I don't think Virginia is good as advertised here. I like Florida State under a touchdown in this game. I know a lot of people like Virginia covering here at home, but hey, I'm never picking Virginia. If you know me, I went to Virginia Tech, so there are arch rivalry. I might have a little emotional attachment in this game, but hey, Florida State all the way. I would lay the -6.5 here, going to Virginia, Craig.
They still play football in Virginia Tech?
Like, they already fired their coach.
Hey, we fired our coach, so we're figuring it out.
Like, I mean, I understand why people fire coaches midseason, but when it's week 3 and 4, people firing coaches, I'm like, dude. The Oklahoma State was a little different. I mean, this extended into last year, this losing streak, and I mean, they lost to Tulsa too. I get that. They just thought we got Virginia Tech. It's like, what are you firing your coach? Now, I'm always like, hey, if you fire the last couple games of the regular season, then you can kind of get the head start on the coaching carousel, as they say. I get that. But to fire this, it's like basically you just toss this season to the trash. So I don't like that. I hate when.
Let me piggyback on that, because I talked to some of my contacts over in Florida, and I asked them why they haven't fired their head coach. I think we're going to see a lot of step back and firing right now because people are waiting to see what's going to happen at Clemson. Because if Clemson keeps on losing, he's already said in his press conference, I ain't going anywhere. I'm going to coach next year. I'm only 53 or 54, whatever his age. I think people are now going to wait. So if you're Virginia Tech, if you're UCLA, you fired your head coach. You already laid your cards out. I think Florida's probably going to stick around and say, hey, let's see who else is going to be out there. Indiana is going to be a big phone call. People are going to be calling Indiana and say, how much can we get this guy to come to our school? I don't think we're going to see that many firings. I think Florida head coach stays all season long just because of the Dabo effect.
I mean, he's gone. Let's just make it very clear.
Well, yeah.
Like, you look at the season, he's not going to turn it around.
You think they're going to fire him? I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know. You
Billy
really
Napier
think
he's not been a loved guy around in the fan base and the big boosters, which is, let's be very honest, that's who determines when these guys end up getting fired, because somebody's got to step up to pay the buyouts, the payoff. You know, like it's not like these guys aren't under contract for multiple years. You got to buy them out, then you got to bring a new guy in at big money. The question is, Florida, who are you getting next? Like, you keep firing guys without really like an obvious
Mike McDaniel.
Guy.
They'll swing for the fences for someone for Florida, because I mean, you've got to figure Oklahoma State. I'm hearing the Texas State guy is probably much a shoe, and CJ Glenn will probably go there. That's why we made him the favorite as Oklahoma State. UCLA could be something a little bit different, but I think Mike McDaniel could be out of a job. Maybe he going to want to come to college as well.
They're not hiring him.
No, but he didn't get the same state. But maybe UCLA would call him.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I thought Bill Belichick would have a little more success, so I thought it might issue like guys from the NFL, especially later in their careers, maybe going to college. With him not doing so good, and if that continues, then I think you got to you're looking at young college coaches or retread college coaches. I think didn't Cignetti at Indiana just re-sign like a ridiculous deal? So it would.
If you don't think an SEC paycheck is going to pay for a football IU football paycheck, that's two different paychecks.
I don't know if they could. The problem is they're paying they should have kept Dan Mullen. To be very honest, Dan Mullen is a very good coach. Look what he's doing at UNLV. Like, they should have kept him. Looking back now at the Florida coaching issues they've had, it was the one guy that had stability there. And he has proven in the SEC. We'll see. We'll see. All right. As far as the last game on that of those three that I like, Houston, Oregon State. Oregon State's been really bad this year. They're 0-4. They haven't covered against the spread. They did push on one of them. And I think Houston's pretty good. I think Colorado is better than people think because they lost to Georgia Tech and Houston. People are like, oh, Colorado's terrible. Georgia Tech's 15th in the country. They're for real. They beat Clemson, and it really wasn't as close as, yes, they won on the last second kickoff, but they really dominated most of that game. Clemson did well to even stay in that. And I think Houston's pretty good, and I think they're going to prove it this week. I think those two teams, Washington State and Oregon State, they are the teams that got left out. For people that don't know, when the Pac-12 disintegrated, they were the two that left without a conference, and now they're putting together a revamped Pac-12, but it's not the same. And it has cost them so many, both their coaches. It's cost them every good player. Remember, Cam Warren was at Washington State, by the way. Every good player has left, and these teams are just they're not Power 4 conference teams. They're barely. If they were in the Mountain West, I don't think they'd be 500, even if they just played the Mountain West full schedule. I think you take Houston here, no letdown. I think Houston takes care of business. I think Houston, if they win this game, you start looking at their schedule, like the Big 12 is so wide open. Like so wide open. I mean, do you have the odds in front of you there, Raphael? I mean, it's basically like 5 teams that can win the Big 12 this year. It was wide open last year. It's the same this year, right?
I mean, this by Houston, Oregon State, by our release time, and I mean by when we release our football plays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursdays, it will be a solid 14. There's no way this one's going to go 13 because everyone's going to see how poorly Oregon State has played. So this one's going to be a heavy teaser, money line bet, and stuff like that. So this would be a solid 14, which kind of sucks because I was hoping this one opened up at 12.5, and I'm thinking, ooh, maybe this would be a Friday play for me, and then it disintegrated to 13.5, and like I said, it's going to be 14 by release time.
It might go off the key number. It might even go to 14.5 because
Houston I can see that
has looked good on a primetime game. And Oregon State, you look at the stats, you look at the records, like who they're losing to even, it's just ugly. And I hate to see with the conference realignments when teams just get absolutely left out in the cold. I mean, they literally were the only 2 left in the Pac-12. And I still don't understand why the Big 12, I'm surprised they didn't add both of them. Just because, you expand the footprint. And to me, that's kind of what these power conferences are. But they got
Texas Tech is the favorite to win at the conference at plus 250. Then Arizona State, 550. TCU, 6-1. Iowa State, plus 650. Utah, 10-1, I think is really good value.
Yeah. Utah was the favorite, right? Before they lost that game, was the favorite.
Mm-hmm.
So by Texas Tech winning last week. And, I mean, it was 7 going into the fourth quarter? It was like 10-3, right? Going into the fourth quarter, and they scored 20 points and kind of put it away. So a lot of people are going to say that and say, oh, well, they're the best team in the conference. Like in any given day, last year, this time we were Colorado was like left for dead. Then they came back. Arizona State, no one gave them a chance. They ended up making the
BYU last year as well. No one gave them a shot last year.
Yeah, I will say the SEC, we know it's the common criminals of the 4 or 5 that are going to win this year. The Big Ten, it's the other than Indiana. It's all the same people we always talk about that are going to win the Big Ten. The Big 12.
I wanted to ask you guys: is Indiana as good as advertised, or was Illinois just that bad last weekend?
They were bad.
If they win big against Iowa, I can see them moving.
What are they at? 7.5 points?
8, like 8. I thought I saw. Yeah,
that's crazy. It all is because of that last week's game. I mean, Indiana's been good. They haven't played on the road yet.
Well, it's because of last week's game, but don't forget last year they were a covering machine. So even if they only won by 3 points, even if they won by 3 points last week, this number would still be the same because everyone just remembers all I did last year was cash ATS tickets against Indiana. And what did I do last week? I cashed again. So it has a lot to do with just Indiana just rolling at the ticket counter.
They played one ranked team on the road last year, I believe. It was Ohio State. They got handled.
Yeah.
Not saying Iowa's as good as Ohio State, but it's asking a lot. Your first game on the road to cover, that's just crazy.
That offense, what is it? 588 yards per game or something? I get they haven't really played anybody.
It was my one top play loss the last 2 weeks. I had Illinois. I thought Indiana would win, but not cover. It was I watched the first 2 series. I said, this game's over. Indiana,
it was about 63 to 10.
Yeah,
if you're Iowa, you need to keep this game under 45 points in total because if you there's no way they can go toe to toe with Indiana's offense. They'll get blown out again.
Yeah, this is a correlate. I know you don't like parlays, but if you like Indiana, you got to like the over. If you like Iowa, you got to like the under. I can't see how this correlated parlay doesn't hit because, Indiana. If they get into the 20s, Iowa loses. I think the only way Iowa wins if this is 17-14, type of game. Iowa does what Iowa does. Iowa
kick field goals, punt, kick field goals.
Remember, Iowa was losing to Rutgers last week.
Yep.
Yeah.
Rutgers went down and scored. Then they ended up scoring a touchdown and then got a add-on late. So people just look at the score and be like, Iowa dominated. Iowa was losing with 6, 7, 8 minutes to go. So to me, it's like that game, sometimes perception is not reality. That was not reality. Iowa did not dominate that game. They dominated the last 4 minutes. That was it.
Iowa's defensive line, too. They couldn't get pressure, it seemed like, on the quarterback for Rutgers, too. So that was pretty eye-opening to see out of that Iowa defense. We'll see if they could get to the quarterback here with Indiana. I think Indiana has a way better offensive line here than Rutgers, but we shall see. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I think this the weekday games, sometimes I'm glad we actually pick and put our games in on Thursday at 6 o'clock, because these games can influence sometimes what bettors do on Saturday and Sunday. Because you start to make Rutgers, say Iowa wins. Well, Rutgers is better because they hung right with Iowa. That doesn't always work that way. The who beat who thing isn't always thing. It can lead you down a wrong path, as they say. Especially
There's so many games that I don't release because of our release time on Thursday, because I'm waiting for a game that's Saturday at, let's say, 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, and it's going to move 2 to 3 points, hopefully, to my favorite at kickoff. I can't release it at -7, and then an hour before kickoff, I'm getting 9 now. So that's one good thing, and then there's also a bad thing.
Yeah, I would say this weekend, the one game I wanted to get you guys is just quick, because we only got about 3 minutes left. Alabama, Georgia. This would be, everybody would be talking about this in normal years. It's kind of going under the radar, believe it or not, a little bit. And I don't understand why Georgia's only favored by 3. I'm just shocked. I know Alabama has kind of owned them, but there's a guy named Nick Saban that's not on the sideline anymore. So what they did 10 years ago doesn't matter. Nick, let's start with you. Georgia, Alabama. What's your first just knee-jerk reaction in this one?
Yeah, I'm not going to have anything to do with this game, but my first initial thought is obviously Georgia. I don't like that 3.5. If anything, I would buy that down to a 3. But I think it's going to be Georgia here, especially at home. We saw what Alabama did in that first game against Florida State. So I lean towards Georgia. I think Kirby Smart will have them ready to go. But this is a game that I like to sit back and just watch and kind of read after these two go head-to-head.
Georgia, is that Georgia defense good? That's what I like the over a little bit in this game. They couldn't stop Tennessee. I mean, Tennessee really should have won that game. They missed the field goal at the end that should have won. Is that defense good, Raphael? That's the question. Because if not, this game's going to be into the Alabama's defense, I don't think it's good. I think they're going to give up points.
Yeah, I made this total myself 54.5, 55. So when the number came out 52.5, I looked at the total right away. I just missed the old days when this game was in December or late November. What is this game in September? I want to watch this on CBS, not on ESPN. So I agree with you. I think Georgia has to be the play on this one. But at the same time, they're awful in the month of September. They've only covered one game in their last 12 games in September.
Well, let's just play crazy madness in SEC. Alabama wins. Now you're looking at like last year where basically, who knows? You're going to end up with 2-loss, 3-loss, maybe SEC teams fighting for playoff spots. So this is as far as the SEC, if they want it a clear cut, they kind of need Georgia to win. Otherwise, it's going to be madness again this year.
Yeah, because what if Ole Miss beats LSU too? Yep. Then you throw another wrench into it.
About to say that. Ole Miss.
Both of those teams, one of those teams is going to lose this week, obviously. Mississippi State game, obviously Mississippi State game could go a long way determining, how these teams finish. I mean, there's just a lot of teams there that we, you look at the top 25, it's just full of SEC teams like always. A lot of them don't have any losses. There are a couple are going to get losses this week. And if Georgia, which I think Georgia's the bell cow right now, if I had to pick one, which is tough to do if they lose this game, which they have done a lot against Alabama, it's just all hell's going to break loose in the SEC from here on.
Yeah, because you lost at home to Alabama. It's not like you went to Alabama and lost. That's a huge, huge difference.
And Alabama didn't lose in conference, so now Alabama will be undefeated in conference play. Because they lost at Florida State, and that wasn't a pretty loss either. for Alabama, so they're going to have an ugly loss on their resume, even though it was early. That's the positive, I guess, with the Georgia game. If
what
you're
about
early,
LSU's linebacker Wicks announcing he's dating
Lane Kiffin's
daughter? That should be the biggest storyline and all that. Like, what's the after game meetings going to be? Hey, Dad, here's my boyfriend. It's like awkward.
That's funny. I think Lane Kiffin too tweeted out, "Take the over."
Yeah, he tweeted that out. Take the over.
So good week this week in college football. Good week in the NFL. Make sure you stay tuned. We'll be back on Docs Daily tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Friday, 1 o'clock. And don't forget on Saturday, Griffin and Lenny. I mean, I like to give pats on the back. These guys do a great job on Saturday mornings where it's basically just question and answers. You can fire away questions on games as long as Griffin doesn't have there you go. As long as Griffin doesn't have an expert play on that game, he'll give you an opinion, and so will Lenny. So it's really good show. Good job, Lenny. Good job, Griffin. And thanks again, guys, for joining in on me. Don't forget, don't go crazy. Today, we have till this weekend in MLB. Do not go crazy because there's going to be better games to bet in the playoffs next year. I know it's hard as bettors to sometimes be disciplined, have money management. But if I could ever preach anything, Raphael will tell you this. This is like the dream scenario for odds makers because this is a week where people just get crushed. They just get crushed because you think just because teams need to win, they're going to win. That just does not happen at the last couple of weeks of the season. All right, guys. Thanks again. Thanks, guys. We'll see you again next time. Good luck. And don't forget, click the link below to get in on any of our stuff.